Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time I'm playing in the Tier 10 Japanese medium tank. It is the SDB-1. Now, I featured this tank on my YouTube channel about 4 or 5 times in 2016, but it's been over a year since I talked about and featured the SDB-1. Now, why is that? Well, when this vehicle first went into the game, I feel like the statistics were very well rounded and to the end, should we say, on the higher end of well rounded. And everything about this tank I really like the look of. The fact that it was limited to 53 kilometers an hour, had a decent power to weight ratio above 20 horsepower per ton. It has some armor frontally, and it's got 10 degrees of gun depression, 7.5 rounds a minute rate of fire with decent penetration, unlike is on the 30B now. So everything, I just liked it. So much so that I put 4 Japanese girls inside this tank and I played it to death. And I just feel in the last year or so we've been seeing a lot of buffs to other medium tanks. For example, the Object 140 no longer has a weak point on top of the roof. The M48's turret is now just absolutely godlike. And those were 2, in my opinion, of the more competitive Tier 10 medium tanks. And so, of course, when all the competition starts getting buffed, then arguably people are going to play with the SDB-1 a little bit less. And that's definitely been the case for me. These Japanese girls inside my garage have just really not been getting the attention they deserve. That sounds absolutely terrible. You get my point. We're not playing with them. Oh, that sounds even worse. We're not getting them crew training. Okay, we're not training them up. And so it's just, oh god, can I recover this? I think I can. Well, obviously female crew members in World of Tanks are extra special. You feel like you work for them. I'm gonna just, you know what? We're not gonna go. We're not gonna go there. I'm thinking about restarting this entire commentary. I'm probably going slightly red now for just some absolutely bizarre reason, but I'm just gonna roll with it. What I'm trying to say is, the SDB-1 arguably might have been power creeped a little bit by all of the other medium tanks, and when it went into the game it was special, and now not so much. I wouldn't really recommend it too much. And why is that? Because this vehicle, apart from the Object 430, has just the worst gun handling imaginable for a Tier 10 medium tank. This vehicle has got just as bad gun handling, or if not worse, than most of the Tier 9 medium tanks. And anybody who's made that jump up from Tier 9 to Tier 10 will know that it's all about just how comfortable you feel snapping in the shots with your Tier 10 mediums. And that's just something the SDB-1 can't do, and it's absolutely frustrating with this tank. I just did a Tier 10, well, not a Tier 10, I just did a Japanese medium tank tech tree showcase on Sunday, and I was honestly trying my heart out in this tank, and I think I did 0 damage in 1 or a couple of games in the SDB-1. And it was just because, literally, well, when I say 0, one of them was 0, but that was on mines on encounter, and somebody decided to cap out. Well, the whole team decided to cap out. But we had so many situations where shots would have hit and probably would have penetrated if I was driving some of the other Tier 10 medium tanks that don't have that .36 accuracy or god-awful turret traverse dispersion of 0.14 with 2.3 seconds aim time. And so sometimes DPM just isn't everything, right? Just because this tank has 7.5 rounds a minute rate of fire, when you're having to aim for so long and then you miss the shot, well, then you've probably got half the DPM of a tank that would have been able to hit those shots. Now, there are some times when looping in that extra shot with the 7.5 rounds a minute can be very useful. I'm going to highlight one of those situations coming right up. But all in all, long story short, SDB-1, it's just too frustrating for me to enjoy these days, now that all of the other Tier 10 meds are looking hotter and hotter. So this game, oh wow, basically all the green players on my team are dead, unfortunately, and all of the green and purple players on the enemy team are alive, even though we've been kicking quite a lot of butt. Talking about purple players, looks like the Bat Chatillon has been YOLOing in some heat rounds from across the map, having cleaned up our artillery and base, and he looks like he just hit the tracks of that T25 pilot. Now, obviously, the E75 is getting below us, and he wants to pressure that Bat Chatillon 12T. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a swing across here. Now, I know I'm safe from this location, because the WT Alpha Panzer IV has been spotted there, and the Scorpion G, he's most likely up around there. So by swinging across, I can get good shots into the C75, and okay, off with his head. Doesn't look like I need shots, just one will do. Taking the head clean off that Tier 9 German medium tank, and you know what, 1,285 damage for a single shot, I'll take that. Now we're really starting to pump up the damage, and I feel like we're going to need that luck to be able to get back into this game because, this is going to be a hard one to get through. So what am I thinking right now? Well, clearly, because it's an encounter, I don't need to worry about where I spawned. I need to worry about the encounter cap circle, and so that allows me to pretty much just, I guess, give up on the T25 pilot. I don't think I'm going to be able to get him out of there. I'm hoping that this T32 behind me is going to be able to lock down that ridge, because the Batchat's coming right up after him. I think you can see my mouse twitches thinking, shall I go back to get the Batchat, or shall I try and engage the Scorpion G out in the open? And it's these kind of situations where you really just have to try and get as many rounds downrange as possible. And that's where the STB-1 can be really good with its 7.5 rounds a minute rate of fire. And when you have a gigantic, big, open, squishy target like that, it doesn't matter if you've got pretty mediocre gun handling and .36 accuracy. Now at this moment I think, shall I go after the WT Panzer IV? Shall I go after the artillery? Shall I try and look after that M103, having vanquished the Tier 8 German premium tank destroyer in the open? And I decide that obviously that Batchat 12T, the Tier 10 medium tank left alive on the enemy team and one of the most powerful light tanks in the game, is going to just mop up this flank unless I punish him. And so I'm going to take advantage of the fact that this T32 is going to soak up some of the damage to be able to hopefully deal with the T25 pilot and the Batchat. And you see, I look at the Batchat. Shall I shoot the Batchat? I can't stop the Batchat from unloading, but what I can do is to take out the tank that doesn't have to reload an entire magazine. And so I focus the T25 pilot down. And now I can go after the Batchat, who has actually isolated himself. And it looks like that E75 on my team is using the 105mm as he does just over 320 to the Batchat. And this is where we hope we have some oh, that is a great result to put one in there in the Batchat. That is exceedingly lucky. This tank has awful dispersion on the move of 0.16. Combine that with that accuracy and that aim time, I'm very lucky that I hit that Batchat. But in these kind of scenarios and these kind of situations, you are going to need luck on your side to get through this game. So this is where that 7.5 round minutes is actually great. The DPM of this tank allowed me to shoot the WT Panzer IV twice there, whereas I think that if I'd been driving the M48, I probably wouldn't have been able to reload twice with a slightly worse rate of fire to be able to finish off the Tier 9 German tank destroyer. I nearly said medium tank there. Talking about medium tanks, I'm going to have to blitz after this AMX-13 105. I would argue maybe not quite as good as the Batchat, but in this scenario, just as dangerous. Oh, awful result for me. The Ferdinand puts one right into the back of my tank, giving me a new exhaust pipe, as we can see there. The artillery finishes off the E75, and so that completely changes the tables. Oh, luckily the 13-105 puts one into my tracks, and I repair my tracks instantly to try and lure him back out round the corner because he still had one shot left with his 3-round 105mm autoloader. And that T32 that I saved now comes back to save me. Awesome stuff. Is that a Polyon? A Polyon. It was really lovely to play this game with you, buddy, and I definitely couldn't. I would have been dead there. That 13-105 would most likely have been able to go through me with the second shell. He was spamming the heat rounds, which one of them, believe it or not, actually just went straight through my turret here, which is quite weird for a heat round just going through a mantlet like it's nothing. But spaced armor only provides so much protection against heat rounds, especially when on the STB-1 you don't actually have any armor behind the spaced mantlet of the gun shield. So a bit of a misplay here. I ping the map trying to alert the T-32 as to what I'm doing. I also say, I flank, stay safe in the chat. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to understand me, but hopefully he will. All I really need the T-32 to do right now is just to sit in cover, just stay safe. Because this is an encounter, I've got more than enough time. I've got 4 minutes to be able to get round and flank the Ferdinand. If it was a regular game, then we would only have 100 seconds, and then maybe the T-32 would have to get a shot, or alternatively I'd have to try and look for a different angle on the Ferdinand. Now I thought about maybe using this location here, but the problem with using this location is the Ferdinand could be pointing straight up from either area here. Because he's coming from the south, I'm thinking he is going to be in... Well, I can fly over here and let you know. My guess is the Ferdinand is right here because he's coming in from the south. He doesn't want to get exposed to the T-32 and where I was up in that location. But coming right up is going to be a gigantic misplay by me. And this is where it's the little things that can make or break your game. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a shortcut thinking, oh, there's no way the Ferdinand is going to be able to spot me out here, right? I've got fairly good camo rating. I'm a low-profile tank. I've got a concealment crew. And oh, that split second, ladies and gentlemen, now I get spotted by the Ferdinand. He knows exactly where I am. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wedge my tank up here to hopefully try and evade some fire from the artillery. And look what the Ferdinand immediately does. He falls back, he works his way around the rock, and he's also going to be facing the T-32. And all of that time completely wasted. Just a big misplay there by me. I did not appreciate that he would have been able to spot me there. And if he didn't, well, I would have been able to get him. And I obviously didn't know at the time that the Ferdinand snuck his way around the back. The T-32 pops out to try and get an interrupt, I guess, or just to shoot the Ferdinand. And unfortunately for me, he shuts down my T-32, and so now we're in a real tricky scenario. I really wish I had some of those hit points back, but that 13-105 and the Ferdinand definitely caught me by surprise. Did not expect that Ferdinand to put the new exhaust into the back of my tank. Okay, so 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on this game. That artillery has been doing exceptionally well. Look at that, 4 kills in a tier 8 self-propelled gun. He is having a massive impact in this game, seeing if he can carry his team through this one. The T-25 pilot at this moment is telling me bad information. He's saying no Ferdinand is cap. Really? Oh, really? Thank you, T-25 pilot. In these kind of scenarios, as I said in one of my last videos, when I was playing the AMX 1375, or was the AMX 12T, if you realize that somebody has clearly shown that they're working out the situation, trying to get into a position where they can flank their opponents, don't ping the map randomly, don't try and distract them. It's only going to, exactly that, it's only going to distract them. And then they might miss the opportunity, they might miss a tank spotting up, or just think a little less clearly. Okay, so the Ferdinand clearly in the cap circle, and this time he's going to be on my side. He's going to be around here. That's my prediction. So as I come up over this ridgeline slowly to make sure that the reticule bloom is not large. There he is. He's right there. Lovely side shot. Okay, now they can no longer cap, but that's not going to be enough. And I'm thinking, shall I expose my cupola to this Ferdinand? Can I risk it with where the artillery could be? And considering the artillery isn't shooting me right now, this is where I started to figure out where the artillery might be. Now, the artillery didn't shoot me over here, so that suggests that, well, he didn't shoot me over here, right? So that suggests to me that he can't be up in this location. So I figure out that he must be up in the northeast corner, because otherwise he would have tried to splash a shot, he would have blind fired one. And so I'm going to have to kill the artillery here, as well as the Ferdinand, because of course there's no chance that I'm going to be able to cap. Now, the Ferdinand actually is quite intelligent here. He obviously knows how long it's going to take to cap, although these days Wargaming show you the exact time, even without modifications at the top of your screen. And so he figures out, no point in sitting in the cap circle for the STB-1 to interrupt me again. And even then, he couldn't have been able to cap in time, even if I was to go AFK. And so he's going to be working his way up the slope right now towards me. So I know the Ferdinand is going this way. So what I have to do is just to pray that I'm going to find the artillery up in this location. And if I do that, then I might be able to flank around alternatively here or around here to be able to get the Ferdinand. So it's always about thinking and creating a little plan in your head. Try and figure out where the enemy tanks are going to be. Sometimes you don't even have to get hit by them to know where they are going. And this Su-14 too, surely he's not in the base still. Surely he's not where they spawned. Okay, there's only one more ridgeline that he could be on. Is he going to be here? There he is! There's the scum bus. One through the tracks. Also set him on fire. Okay, this was an absolute wake-up moment for me. It's gone from being a game where, oh, am I going to draw? Am I going to lose? To now actually having a chance to win. And I have no interest in drawing out this game. Sure, the Ferdinand's got more hit points than me. Sure, I've got a one-shot for the Ferdinand, even if he's using the 105mm on that tank, and we clearly know he's not because he did 500 damage to me earlier. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to give this Ferdinand a chance to kill me, and hopefully I'm going to be able to take him out. Oh no! The gun handling means that we hit his tracks and not his hull, and right now what I'm doing is I'm just baiting. I'm hoping the Ferdinand just shoots, he misses, so I can shoot at him twice. I come out, I snap a shot. Now he's got to be getting a little bit more worried. I've got to hit him 2 more times to win this game. Come on, Ferdinand, miss me so I can do it. Ouch. Did you guys see that one coming? Well, of course you did if you watched the stream on Sunday. Oh, at the time, I have to admit, was a little bit heartbroken. But then again, it's not every day that you do 10,000 combined, so I guess that's a little bit of a sweetener. And let's just follow in this shell as to where it actually went. Oh, it's going pretty darn quickly. Okay, there it is. Still flying. Oh, it flies just over the ridgeline. Where does it go now? Oh, looks like he must have hit just into the top of the cupola. But as you can see, because of the little bit of lag of me pulling back and also my tank rocking back before it comes to a standstill, there's that pesky shell. Oh, man. And so this is apparently where that shell from the Ferdinand hit, right up into the top corner of the cupola. It couldn't have been any closer. So this Heartbreak was an ace tanker for a defeat here. 878 base experience points, but you get Courageous Resistance as well, buffing that up by 726 at least with the premium account. And we did 9,170 damage to get our high caliber medal, and we get 6 kills to secure a top gun, and we even defended the cap circle against that pesky Ferdinand. And while we did load the gold a little bit here and fired a few heat rounds, we still make a 17,000 credits profit, albeit with a premium account. So all in all, I think the STB1 can be great if things do go well with regards to the vehicle's dispersion and its accuracy, which obviously is the main thing that hinders the tank from being absolutely fantastic. And if you can deal with it, then the vehicle can still be a great all-rounder at tier 10, but personally for me, I would rather get in my Object 140 or M48 any day. And so that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down and let me know why. And let me know what is your biggest heartbreak of all time. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.